is in hot water in Germany. The country's cartel office is saying that the social media company is actually abusing what it calls its dominant market position. So it says the specific problem lies in the way that Facebook collects user data. It's basically a privacy concern, which Facebook has had to deal with in the past, especially in Europe. In a blog post, Facebook issued a response. Facebook is basically saying that it's cooperating fully, but said that the idea that it has a dominant market position is not completely accurate. Let me read you part of their quote. They're saying, "We've repeatedly had to change to keep up with what people want. Our size does not allow us to create products and force people to use them." That's how a company acts in a competitive marketplace. It's not how a dominant company behaves. And the president of the Federal Cartel Office says that because Facebook is so powerful, it has an even stricter obligation to be responsible with how exactly it collects data and how transparent it is in terms of what users know about how it collects data. I spoke with Andreas Mundt a few hours ago. I began by asking which findings concerned him the most. Take a listen.
We found that the market shares, for example, of Facebook in the market for social networks is extremely high. It's 90% of the daily active users that are active on Facebook. We've seen a lot of network effects. We've seen access to data. So everything that might create market power and dominance. And this is why we believe that Facebook is under, stricter obligations than maybe other companies when it comes to how to generate data, what to do with this data, and with regard to privacy in general.
That's interesting because when you hear Facebook tell their side of the story, they don't believe that they have market dominance in Germany at all. They're saying that German citizens use at least 7 different social media apps, not just Facebook, and that half of all German internet users don't have Facebook at all. Is that a fair sort of other side to the story, do you think?
Well, we believe that our investigations point to a different direction. Facebook has millions of users in Germany, and we have defined a market for social networks. That market does not really include professional networks like Xing, which is quite popular over here in Germany, or LinkedIn. We believe that Facebook is active on a market of its own, a market for social networks on which you try to find friends, you try to stay in contact with your friends, you exchange views, you exchange opinions. That is quite different from other networks that we know. And by the way, what is not part of the market are messaging services as well. So if you take that as a market, we found that Facebook holds a market share of 90%. And that, in addition with other effects like access to data, network effects, etc., from our point of view, really creates a dominant position with regard to Facebook.
So, Mr. Mundt, what do you want to see changed in all of this, just in terms of privacy being protected for German users?
Well, we are worried about the collection of data by Facebook. That is not so much about the collection of data when you as a user make use of the Facebook website. It's more what is happening outside that website. Most users, most consumers are not aware that whenever you call up a website where you find a like button or a messenger service of Facebook embedded, that already from there on, Facebook collects your data. I firmly believe that most users are not aware of this. And of course, a lot of data is gathered by that way. And this is what we think in our, preliminary legal assessment might be harmful with regard to consumers.
So I see. So it's not just the privacy issue, it's also the education and transparency aspect of it as well.
I think it's both. From our point of view, it's more or less a competition issue, because the data that is collected by Facebook is the price that the consumer, the user has to pay if the user wants to make use of services that are provided by Facebook. And if that is kind of a price, according to German competition law, the price can be excessive. And if Facebook collects data in a way that is not in line with privacy regulation, we believe that Facebook, as a dominant firm, might abuse its dominance, might abuse its market power to the detriment of the consumer. So we see a pretty close link between privacy issues on the one side, but also with regard to competition issues on the other side.